Hi, I'm Mary Nicholas, and I want to talk to you on a particular subject tonight. And this subject is something that is so prevalent in our world today that I understand that there are, even in the amongst the Christians, there are about 70% of the Christian people that are into pornography and books, magazines, television, computer. So I want to talk to you and really get personal with you this evening. I remember a program, as I'm thinking on this, I remember a program that was on television not too long ago. Can't say the other day, I think it was more like a couple of months ago, which really impressed me. And in the program, there were actors, and these actors were to play the part of a sex offender or a pedophile that would influence a child to go with them, to follow them around, to go to the car with them. It so happened that the mothers that they brought out were real mothers, and the children were their own children, and they were told that they were going to do a demonstration and see if these children would go with these men or women that came up to them with a story of distress. Well, the mothers, of course, we mothers, I'm a mother, I'm a grandparent, and also a great-grandmother. And knowing all my life how children were influenced to go with someone and then turn up missing, being kidnapped, or sexually offended. So the mothers, of course, they absolutely said, no way will my child go with that person. No way would they ever go to a car with someone. No way would they go off with a stranger. But it so happened that every one of those children went with the actor who was portraying a person getting to a child and influencing that child to go with them. Now, one little boy, he was told that a little dog had been lost, and the man was looking for him and whistling for it and calling its name, and then went up to the little boy, and this was tried on a boy and girl, and said, would you help me look for my little doggie? It's lost. It's a little poodle. It's a little white poodle, and I've lost it around here somewhere in the park, so could you please help me? And of course, the little child said, yes, I will do it. I will do it. I can remember when I was, several years ago, my niece was a lot smaller, and to show you the emotions that a child would have, I told her a little story. It was a bedtime story, and I told her about a little kitten that got lost, and this little kitten was out in the rain, and it had no one to take care of it, and had no way to get any food, and it lay there on the threshold, by the threshold of this house, because it had walked up there and it heard people in the house. And my little niece the little kitten said, nobody wants me, nobody wants me. And she jumps up and sits up in bed. She goes, I'll take it, Mimi, I'll take it. And she was just crying, and tears were flowing down her cheeks. An emotion that was played on by me telling the story. Of course, I made it up. And she believed it. It's the same type of a story with an emotion behind it and a pretense behind it that a pedophile or a sex offender will come to a child. I have something in my van I want you to see, a really neat, cool motorcycle to a little boy. And I want you to come and see it. It's red, and if you'd like, you might even be able to ride it. And the little boy, he follows him to the van and goes to the door, opens up the back, and the man takes him, pushes him in. You don't see the little boy after that. Well, the mother thought sure that child would not in any way go with that man. Even to that van, my child, I've talked to my child, it would never go. But that child did. Or your daddy called and said he can't pick you up at school, and he asked me to do it, and you are to go with me and I'll take you home. And that child, with trusting, goes with that person and is taken off, kidnapped, molested, perhaps even killed. And the mother swore, no, my child would never go with someone, ever. I told them never to always check and make sure that the principal or the teacher knew that someone was there wanting you to go with them, to have them call your folks. But that child went to the car, got in with that man or that woman, and there was not seen thereafter. And the mothers were shocked to see that their children were so easily influenced by a trusting face or a good story or a call of distress, and went with that person. Now you might say, and my name is Mary Nicholas, you may say, well, Mary, you know, I don't think it's really that bad. Aren't you exaggerating a little bit? Well, let me see. What about the little child, the little girl that went walking through her neighborhood? She thought she knew her neighbors. She thought she knew everyone because it wasn't her first time that she walked. And she walked around the neighborhood and no one saw her after 4 o'clock that evening. Why? The neighbors in that neighborhood all seemed to be good people. But the little child was asked to come in to visit with this man because he was a neighbor. She went and he killed her. He took her life. And what about the another little girl who lived in an apartment complex? And she walked about the complex and she thought she knew her neighbors and the people and the men and the women and the boys and the girls that lived in that neighborhood and in those apartments. A young man asked her to come in and visit with him for a little while. And they could not find her all night long. They put out a search for her, even knocked on his door. And he said, I've not seen any little girl around here. Then they went back the next day and they began to search again and found her body dismembered in his closet in a tub of water. Then there was 3 little girls whose mother and father trusted the babysitter. And that babysitter would come and molest those children when the mother and father was away getting groceries, or maybe they went to a movie, or maybe they just went out to dinner. But they were molested. And that would never leave them for the rest of their life. They would think about what that man did. What that man did. So I'm saying to you, on this tape, on this video, on this DVD, however you get it, to begin to educate your children about sex offenders and pedophiles, which are the same thing, but to me sounds a little bit different we know that pedophiles or sex offenders has to register, usually if they live in a neighborhood close to a school. Know your neighbors. Teach your children never to stand in a place by themselves, but always be around somewhere, someone, some people, but not to ever go off with someone by yourself. And if you see someone coming, they see someone coming toward them that seems to be too friendly, look quickly, run to where there are people, and then get the heck out of there. Don't want to go around thinking that pedophiles or sex offenders are around you all the time, but they are, especially little ones. Teach them to be smarter than the pedophile. Teach them to be more aware than what a pedophile would think they were, or a sex offender would think that they were. No, we're not going to get rid of people who offend in that way altogether, but we sure can make the children more educated, more intelligent when it comes to how to act and what to do and not to be in a place where they could be confronted with, my dog's lost, would you go with me? Because this has been brought to my attention so much, and I am a minister and I do travel a bit, and a lot of people have come to me telling me stories of little ones that have been missing, or people that have been molested, or children whose parents have molested them, or how an uncle, an aunt, even someone in maybe a high position, like the young lady that was molested by a policeman. People around you, get to know. Teach your children. Teach them that it's not wrong to always be aware and suspicious of someone that could be someone that would hurt or harm or molest. Thank you. I wanted to share this with you because it is becoming very alarming lately of our children missing. We hear it on television practically every night, and while I'm talking to you right now, many children are being molested. Many children are being sexually abused. Thank you for listening.